Well, sitting on the side of Wildbaden, this very beautiful mountain peak that looks over the Inn, marks the border between Germany and Austria. A border, a gate. The German for gate is Tor. The Gateless Gate. It's so interesting how in Japan, in front of Buddhist temples, there's always a gate. And they have this idea of the gateless gate. It's very meaningful somehow. You pass through a gate. This implies dualism, two things on one side and then the other. But at the same time, they hold that there is no gate. There never was a gate. It's all one thing. I think this is the experience of our lives. We think, when I turn 18, then I'm an adult. Then I can begin life. Then I am free. But it isn't too long before we feel in a cage again. That gate wasn't real. When we're on one side of it, the gate appears very real, very hard, very definite, and very important. On the other side, well, it all just comes together again. Desire. A gate is desire manifest. You become dissatisfied in the landscape. And so you invent a gate. You invent a door out of this unsatisfying landscape and taking you into that landscape which is going to be better. You're sure. You're absolutely certain of it. Well, do it. Create the gate. It's all right. It's even good. Too much spiritual talk, especially of this Eastern Buddhist variety, seems to be telling you, stop desiring, stop creating doors, just cut it out, and then you won't suffer anymore, and then everything will be fine. This is the way I interpreted that kind of knowledge at first, but this is not what they mean. First off, if you desire to stop creating gates, that is itself a gate, a magnificent gate that looms above all the others. The gate to living without desire, and thus living without suffering, and thus bliss. Yeah, good luck. No, those people were smart. This is not what they meant. That can't be what they meant. Old men and women sat and they meditated and they dedicated their lives to something. And it would have been churlish of them to offer advice like that. So that's a misreading of the advice. That's a Westerner's fix-it-quick mentality reading of those sort of words. Believe believe me, patience is a big problem for me. For me, expressing patience requires me to first go through suffering and to really realize through and through that being impatient is making things worse. This is one of my greatest sins, one of my worst habits, I should say. No, I think the idea of releasing your desires, I think it's an idea you can put in the back of your mind. This can become a kind of drone, a tone, or maybe a very slow chord progression going behind your other melodies. You're playing music all the time. You can't change on a dime, but you can introduce something that's back there, something that doesn't change quite so often. This tone in the back of your song, it becomes something like a memory. Something like there's a reminder. Every now and then you fall into it. Every now and then your other melodies fade away and you just hear this beautiful tone. It's the sound of the planets moving. It's the sound of the wind in the trees. And it's beyond time. And when you go with it, you are beyond time too. And more, you spend time in this place. And each time you do that, you know deeper. You're grinding this tone into your bones. You're building faith. You're building faith in an idea. It emerges more and more in your life. The idea behind all your other ideas. More and more it expresses itself. More and more, when you choose a new idea, it's subtly aligned better with the idea of living without desire, living in harmony with nature. More and more, you won't pursue your old ideas with the same vigor. You may still practice them, but somewhat less. We don't turn on a dime. We never can. But we do change. And the you, 10 years from now, will look back on the old you and be amazed at how different you were. I think the you 10 years down the road is already looking back at you with love. If this you yet to be is not looking at you now with love, then it's not real. Because that one in the act of being born now, You are birthing this new you right now. He, of course, looks back on you with compassion because you birthed him. Your thoughts changed. They moved bit by bit to bring him into being. And he knows how hard you worked to birth him. He looks back on you as anyone looks back on their mother, thinking of the pain of birth. If you look back on who you were with contempt or sarcasm or something like that, I think you're in the wrong place. I think you're in a kind of a vehicle or a cul-de-sac of thought that will take you somewhere false. Because if you can hold yourself with contempt, you'll hold others with contempt. And this way lies damage. Damage to the fabric of everything. Damage which you will have to spend time repairing. You do enough repairs like this, and at some point you resolve to simply stop moving. If every time you move, you're going to create damage, better to stop. Move much more slowly. And, you may not do anything amazing then, but what is amazing? I think stillness is amazing. I think stillness is a goal. Better to be still. It takes courage to be still. And when you're still, you feel and you hear that tone. I can feel it now.